Okay, so this is being recorded. If you are not muted, could you please go to the bottom left and make sure you're muted? Because if I get through some of these slides I'm going to show and I get interrupted, I have to go back to the beginning again. You don't want me to do that at all. So here's what I'm going to do. You know, these products work. They're patented. We're at the beginning. There is an enormous opportunity. And I've been in network marketing a long time now, and I was at the top of another company, but I remember going through my learning curve about learning network marketing in that other company. And it was a learning curve. And, you know, I said I was coachable. I thought I was coachable, but I didn't see the results that I wanted to see. And then I really looked at myself, and someone pointed it out to me and said, you're not as coachable as you think you are. And I see that a lot in ASEA. That it's a very simple business. It's keeping things very, very simple and duplicatable. And when we speak, when the diamonds or golds or platinums that are moving, that are absolute, there are a lot of people on this call that are going to be diamonds. I mean, they're just doing what it takes to be there. But when we share with people what you need to do to build a business, meaning what gives you the highest percentage chance of actually getting people on this product so the product validates that that this is real, and at the same time educating them that there's a business opportunity. What gives you the highest percentage of winning and doing it the right way means you've actually trained a person how to turn around and do what you just did. But it has to be kept simple, and you have to do certain things in a certain way. It's amazing how many people that I see have that all that it takes to go to the top, which could be anybody. I can see some people could do it faster than others, but anybody can get to the top in this. But they keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, and they're missing something. And even though we're coaching, saying it's really, you don't have to do this because I can't hire you or fire you, but if you want to succeed, I can kind of see what you're missing. Sometimes in the middle of it, you can't see, you know, what you're doing wrong. There's so many moving parts to this business, so many videos, so many trainings, and sometimes it's just overwhelming, and people don't really hear or can't see the really important things. And when someone says this is really important, Diamond says this is really important, if it's one of 100 things, it's like, okay, well, I'll get to that. Okay, like I'm holding up a set of CDs called GoPro, right? This is really, really important. But if it's one of 10 books that someone's told to read or suggested, oh, I'll get to it, right? So what I did was I did a presentation at one of the conventions at a breakout session. And everybody wanted the slides afterwards, including the diamonds, said, I need those slides for my group. Because what I did was I kind of broke it down into like 9 or 10 things that were really the core things. Forget everything else at first. Just focus on these like 9 or 10 things and understand them, right, before moving on to other things. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go through this PowerPoint relatively quickly. Hopefully it's going to take me 30 minutes here, and that's it. And hopefully I'll have time for some questions. But I'm recording it. So if you find it valuable, know that I'm going to send the recording out to anybody that wants it, if you find it helpful. And honestly, if you don't find it helpful, it's totally fine. You might sit there and say, you know, 5% of what he says is good, and I don't really think the rest is. That's fine. That's your opinion, and that's totally fine. I just know that what I'm about to share with you, it breaks it down. And if you really look at these 9 or 10 things and don't just look at it and walk away, you know, like if you want the slides, you can have them and focus on it. It'll help you tremendously. Some of it is concepts, some of it is skills. But I think it'll be kind of self-explanatory when we go through it. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can share the correct screen here. Okay. Jeanette, I can see you in my screen. Are you seeing me move like a square around my screen right now? Just shake your head up or down, yes? Do you see me on a horse with a lot of icons? Do you see something moving across the screen? Yes, I hope so. So So tell me if you, uh-oh, hope this configures properly. Do you see the thing that says David Silverman now? Okay. So this is just the introduction and I did this for you know, several hundred people. They weren't in my group that didn't know who I was. In fact, there's my grandmother 6 years ago for her 100th birthday, actually. Can't believe she's gone now. Wow. So what we're going to talk about here is Network Marketing 101. The real basics. That's what I want to talk about here, okay? And I've used this slide in presentations where I'm describing ASEA to new people, introducing it to new people. Hang on one second. I'm sure, I think it's in the closet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But once you're made aware of something, it's so obvious. So hopefully I'm going to make you, if you have not been to the top in network marketing, you've had some success but not great success, or you're new to network marketing, what I'm about to share with you afterwards, hopefully it'll just be very obvious, very obvious. So the example I use is this FedEx sign. A lot of people have never seen this, but it's something that's just, it's there. And now if you're not aware of it, I'm going to make you so obvious of it. Every time you see a FedEx sign, you're going to see it. I'm not going to ask you, because I'm going to do this quickly. You don't have to answer me. But how many of you do not see that there is an arrow in this sign? There's an arrow, and it's always been in this FedEx sign. Most people never see it. I'm going to point it out to you. And now every time you see it, that's all you're going to see is the arrow, because you never knew it was there. Look between the orange E and the X. Okay? You see this right here? You see the arrow right there pointing to the right? It's always been there by design, but people don't know it's there. And so what we're going to talk about some aspects of this business that I think you're going to say, oh, I never thought of it that way. I never noticed that. That's what I'm getting out of this presentation. So network marketing is a very, very unique business. If you want to have a serious income with this, and I'm not talking $100 a month or $1,000 a month, I'm talking 6 figures or 7 figures a year, then you absolutely must have these things happen. You have to have a crystal clear clarity of your why. You have to know why you're doing this business. And if you say it's because you like to help people, I have to be honest with you, it probably will not drive you. You will probably never get to the top of network marketing in any business unless you can come to grips with the financial reason why you want to be successful in this. And it's not to say I want money, and I'm going to go through this in a little bit. Every one of these numbers I have a slide for. But you have to know what very clearly why you want to be successful or need to be successful. Number 2, you have to make a decision. You have to make a committed decision that you are going to win at this. Now, when you find the right company with the right product and patents and ethics, integrity, all of it, and timing, all the things are in place. And if you have a good upline team. I mean, you have to have a good upline team also. You can do it without a good upline team, but it is very helpful if you have a supportive upline team. And Debbie Wetzler and I put this call together to support you guys and your teams, to help you break off and to be leaders. So everything's in place here. Then it just comes down to a decision, okay? And it's got to be a firm decision. We'll talk about that. You've got to be self-motivated. You know, nobody's going to motivate you. And so if you're not self-motivated, you have to go up to item number 1, okay? What's your why? Number 4 is you have to be coachable. And this is where a lot of people miss it. They're motivated, but they're not coachable. You have to be a student of network marketing. You have to decide that you're going to get good at this. You know, not a lot of people in any company get to 7 figures a year, and more people get to 6 figures, but they are a student of this. If they're brand new to network marketing, they say, I'm not going to screw around. I'm going to get good at this. And we're going to talk about this tonight. You have to understand and grasp 3 critical fundamental concepts and 2 absolute facts. We're going to go over that. You have to commit to get good at 2 skills. Okay, now with the 6 reasons video has made it a little bit easier on one of those skills, but you have to get really good at 2 skills. We'll talk about that. Number 7, you have to be organized, or you have to commit to become organized, and we have a way to do that too. Okay, So if people are weak in these areas, it all comes down to the why and the decision, number 1 and 2. If 1 and 2 are there, then everything falls into place, and I'll prove that in a minute. Number 8 is you need to plug into your team's events, like this event. This is a weekly event, right? It's our infrastructure. It's our infrastructure. You need to attend events. You know, if they're local, John and Kathy, Trish Winkler came into town a couple weeks ago, and she made sure she had a lot of people there. And she was working very hard for the weeks ahead, knowing that the event was coming. We're going to talk about that because that's one of the skills we're going to talk about what they did. But attending events. And the 9th is really important. It's being consistent and being persistent. That's the key. You know, there are people that are going to, first of all, when you start doing this, you're not great at it. But just like a bricklayer starting, I mean, you have to have someone coaching you what to do, how to line everything up and do everything and get the bead nice and all that. But you get better and better if you keep doing it. People that get in and have 5 people say no and they quit, they weren't coachable. If they were coachable, they realized that, you know, that you need to talk to a lot of people and you get better as you go. But these are the things we're going to talk about here. So number 1 was your why. Okay, you have to, anybody has to lock into their why they will not fail. Okay, I hate to use negatives, but I think that's a driver. It's like I cannot fail at this. And when you look at all the pieces of the puzzle in place, there's no reason why anybody should fail. If they fail, it's because they really didn't make a firm decision. So it's important to put deep thought into this, okay? And so we have a form for our 90-day burst that we're in the middle of right now, actually, is number 1, I don't want to stress about some things in my life. I need this money, and it could be credit card debt. It could be retirement. It could be can't go on vacation. It could be I'm living with a clunker. If the car breaks down, I got no car. You know, whatever it is, it could be I don't want to stress about, you know, hating my life. I don't like my job. You know, some just don't like their job. And so the other part of it is I would always like to be able to, with enough income, and write down some things that you really want for you, for your family, for society, giving back to society, which could be money or time. But this is a really important sheet right here, because this is what's going to drive you through the ups and downs, through the negative people, through the late adopters. You know, we're all early adopters. We looked at this, we got it. We're like, wow, this stuff is amazing. Maybe somebody was persistent with you to the point where you said, okay, I'm going to check this out. But we adopted it early. There are a lot of negative people out there. And when you're locked into your why, and you realize that all the people you know are going to find out about this anyway, it'll drive you through it. And you're like, hey, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You're not one of the people that like me that get it. So you have to write down your goals, okay? And they should be realistic goals. Now, I need to update this, obviously, because it says the end of 2015. But put down at least 3 years. So you should have 16, 17, and 18 there. Because this is a 3 to 5 year plan. And if you think you're going to get rich in a year, you're probably going to be disappointed, because this is not get rich quick. You know, my first checks were $100 a week, $200 a week, you know, then I got up to $800 a week, and then I had a $400 week, and then I had an $800 week, and then I had a $600 week. This takes time to build because it's residual income and it's based on earning a little bit on a lot of people, okay? But this is really important, guys. Honestly, this why is really critical, and you should print it and keep it in front of you. Keep it at your desk, because when you have your daily activities to do and you feel like you don't want to do it, if you realize that if you don't make this work, nothing's going to be different in your life, most likely you may have another option that you're working on. But this is, for me, this is a phenomenal option to realize that we're in the catbird seat. We're at the very beginning of this whole thing. So number 1 was why. Number 2 was your decision. And this is one of the most amazing quotes ever. And I see it happen over and over and over and over again. That when people make a decision, a committed decision, providence moves. Things start to happen. And until one is committed, there's hesitancy. The chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative, there is one elementary truth, that ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The moment one definitely commits oneself, providence moves. Somebody read this to me when I started network marketing, and I didn't really get it. I kind of fled over it. And then I started seeing it in action, because I'd see people just kind of floundering, and all of a sudden I'd have a talk with them and say, look, you know, if you don't make a committed decision, and the word decision has the word size in it, which means cut from any other possibility. Well, as soon as someone makes an absolute decision, it gets done. It is done. Excuse me. People will find a way. If there's a fire in a building and there's a doorway and people can just run right to, they make a decision to run to the doorway and it's open, so nobody in the way, they're out. But if there are chairs piled up in the way and I got to get through it, if they got a committed decision, they are focused. They're ripping chairs out of the way and they're getting to the door. And it's the same thing in this. Once you make the decision, you may not get to the exit or your success to the top the way you think. There may be piles of chairs there in front of you. But if you make the decision, it's not going to stop you. There'll be molehills, not mountains, and you just knock the chairs out of the way. This is really, really important. So, you know, and what makes someone make a decision is having belief in 4 things: in the product, the company, network marketing, and themselves. And then the 5th could be their team. And so if you're weak in any of those things, I'd say absolutely get to the convention no matter what, because you'll know. You'll see people that have less on the ball than you, and they made it because they made a decision that they were not going to be denied. And that's the feeling I had. And I've talked to Jeanette about that too. I will not be denied. I talked to 10 people in a row that say, screw you, fine with me. I will not be denied. And that's the attitude that gets people to the top. It honestly does. Do some people luck out and get to the top by they found 2 people that ran with it? It's possible, but it's very, very, very rare. I mean, this is a business and it's a strategy, but it is a simple business of introducing it to people and following up, okay? And that 6 minutes, 6 reasons video that I shot, 6 minutes, 6reasons.com, it's made it so simple. We're gonna talk about it. Okay, let's see. Okay, the next one was being self-motivated, okay? Well, the only thing that's gonna motivate you is your why. Doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna motivate you except for you. What are you no longer willing to live with? Or what do you really want? Life's going by really fast. What do you really want? That's what's going to motivate you. Okay, being coachable is number 3. Well, number 4 actually, but it's the second thing that's critical. Because if you're not coachable, you can forget it. You know, there are people that will keep doing the same thing over and over again. They talk too much about this to people. They send too many videos. They keep following up without a 3-way phone call. They don't go to events. They don't get on the team call. They don't get on the charge-up call. You know, these are all things that fall into being coachable, okay? And in this, you are in business for yourself, but you are not business by yourself. There are many successful people that have just paved the way, and it's very simple. And, you know, don't reinvent the wheel. A lot of people get into this. They're very excited, and it's understandable. The product works. It's a miracle. They may even have been to an event, but if they're not coachable, they just come out of the gate and it's ready, shoot, aim. It is much better. It is much better than to do that, than to do ready, shoot, aim. And let's do ready, aim, shoot. You made the decision. Okay, show me what to do. Don't just start if you're laying bricks for the first time, don't just start slapping them down because you're excited to play with bricks and mortar. Then afterwards you look at it and this thing is all tilted over and it's unstable. It's much better to do ready, aim, shoot. Absolutely. And that's what we're here for. That's really what we're here for. How do you go about doing that? Okay, I just held up this in front of the camera, GoPro. This is unbelievable. The best skills book you will ever read or CDs you'll listen to. Okay, Think and Grow Rich is a book about your head. And when you get your head right, it's like, okay, nobody can stop me. And it's true. The only thing that stops you is you. But this is a skills book. I don't think I had Think and Grow Rich on here. ABC Genie. I don't have time to really go into this, but on the charge-up call on Friday, the 25th of March, the new Genie is getting launched. And the new Genie is going to be, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. It's so simple. It's just going to keep everybody organized. I'm not going to get into this right now, but this is going to be very, very helpful to everybody. Everybody. How tie into your team's calls and trainings like you're doing right now. You're being coachable. You're here. Okay. Attend events, especially the big ones. I was in Philadelphia for a big one. I was in Spokane for a big one. And the mother of all ones is the convention. I know almost all of you are already attending. And the moment you decide to go, you are modeling for your group. Now, once you make the decision, now it's our job to help you get people there with you. Is everybody going to go? No. Not everybody has a strong why. Not everybody is motivated. And not everybody is coachable. But people that have a why and people that are motivated because of that and people that are coachable will absolutely find a way to get to the convention. If it costs them a lot of money, they'll find a way to get to the convention. If they can't afford it, they'll find a way to get to the convention. Because without going to a convention, there's a huge blind spot. It is an enormous blind spot, and nobody can fill that gap until you get to one, and the next one will be next year, okay? So I mentioned that there were 3 key concepts and 2 facts that people absolutely have to grasp, okay? The concepts, and there are 3 of them. One is duplication. This business is all about duplication. It is not what you can do, it's what your group can duplicate. It's what you can duplicate and that is duplicatable. Because if hopefully you can see me on the camera, but if this is you and you introduce it to 10 people, the goal is you want those 10 people to be able to do what you did, and each of them give it to 10 people as an example, introduce it. Now you got 100 people. What do you want those 100 people to do each? Duplicate it. The highest success rate, get it to the highest percentage rate that they're going to get in 10 people, to at least on the product and to know there's a business opportunity. Both. They may not do the business, but that's the goal. It all starts with you. What are you doing with your 10 people? Because they're going to duplicate that. If you do the wrong thing, if you're a salesman and you sign them up, salesman either, and you sign up all these people, they can't duplicate that. That's not duplication. A lot of times people that have a lot of credibility or people that are really good in sales will screw it up. They'll sign up a lot of people, make a lot of money up front, but it won't duplicate. Those people can't do that. So duplication is key. And how do you duplicate? 2 things, the next 2 concepts, simplicity. Whatever you do, it has to be very simple. And what's our business? Text somebody, when do you have 5 minutes? It's important. 3 o'clock. Call them at 3 o'clock. Are you good for the 5 minutes? Yes, look, I've come across something absolutely amazing. I vetted it. I'm to the point where I'm telling everybody about this, okay? And you tell your story real quickly, 30 seconds. Say, there's a video I want you to watch. It's 6 minutes. That's all I'm asking you to do. I don't know if you're going to be interested, but if you are, it's going to be for one or more of these 6 reasons. And Joe, it could be for you. It could be the anti-aging benefits. It could be someone you love with a disease. I just want you to watch the video, and then we're going to talk tomorrow for 10 minutes. That's step 1 of the 2-step process, right? It's very simple. You're not getting into mitochondria. You're not trying to explain everything in these textbooks, these redox textbooks. You're just making a simple phone call and getting them to watch a simple video, right? And then what you're doing is, the next concept is you're leveraging. So you're not talking. You're getting them interested. You're shutting up. I don't mean to say shut up, but you're being quiet, and you're leveraging a tool. And the tool is a tool that anybody can use. That video that I shot, and everybody in the company is using it because it's simple. It's not pushing anything on anybody. It's not pushing the business on anybody. It's not pushing the products on anybody. It's not pushing the fact that it works on cellulite. It's not pushing any of it. It's just, it's like, why would you be interested, right? And then you can follow up with your friend. Now, following up with a 3-way phone call is very, very helpful, and that's leverage also. But the business is about simplicity and leverage. You want to leverage tools, right? And the tools can be 3-way phone calls. The tools can be videos. The tool can be this meeting. The people that brought new people on tonight, I mean, kudos to you, right? Because this is leverage. Your new people are going to get a better understanding of this than you probably could have possibly given to them, right? Just like me, I leverage these things too. Mind who people come on here. Getting someone to a convention. I do my best to get people to a convention because I know how important it is, and the leverage of them talking to hundreds of people that have been helped with all kinds of diseases, and talking to people that are very successful who were waiting tables before. Now they're making 6 figures. People with high school diplomas making 7 figures, and they can sit down for a cup of coffee with them at a convention. I can't do that here in Rockville, but if I get them to a convention, that's leverage. So those are the 3 concepts. And here are the couple of facts that you have to really understand. in network marketing, and I apologize I'm speaking quickly, but it is being recorded. The power of events cannot be understated. The power of events cannot be understated. This is considered an event, but live events are even more powerful. It's just so much more than me talking to my person. If I can plug them into something where they can hear from other people or meet people and actually see the emotion, very powerful. And that raises the belief in those 4 areas that you need belief in: the product, the company, network marketing, and yourself. The product, the company, network marketing, and yourself. When you have belief in those 4 areas and your team, then it's like, wow, it's just, I got it all. It's just up to me. So the events are really powerful, and the other is it's a numbers game. You know, this is absolutely a numbers game. If you know that you want aces, you know, if you've got a $20,000 for every ace in a deck of cards, and you had 52 cards in the deck, and you started turning the cards over, and the first card was a 5, and the second card was a 10, and the third card was a jack, and this 5th card was a 2, and they're just, you're rolling over these cards. And the analogy is talking to people, right? Nobody's really going at this. Nobody's getting this. A 2 says, you know, screw you. You know, a 10 says, oh, I'm kind of interested. I'll try the product, you know, but you're looking for aces. If you don't hit an ace after 20 cards, what are you going to do? Quit? There's 4 aces left in the 32 cards. You just have to keep turning the cards. It's what are you doing as you turn the card? And in this business, turning the card is, hey, I want you to watch this video for 6 minutes, and I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. Okay, that's turning the card properly. And when you follow up, have someone on the line with you. Do a 3-way phone call. It makes it so much easier to just have someone else just validate what you're saying, not to convince. But these are really important that a lot of people just don't get. People that are successful in network marketing look at this and they shake their head. They're like, yeah, but it's not obvious to people at the beginning. So that's why I put this together. So there's a few skills you have to get good at. Okay, this is the next one. And that's become a very good question asker and listener. Now, I will tell you that the 6 Reasons video takes a lot of this off you, and that's why I made it. Because if you get them to watch it, I'm asking the questions, basically. And then when you follow up on a 3-way, and the person you have on the line says, Joe, Susan says you're interested in this, and you know, I looked at it because my dad was sick, but of the 6 reasons that you saw in the video, you know, a health issue yourself, which can include things that hurt and fatigue, but maybe something serious, or someone you love, and I always say mother or father or child or friend. I mention those things because people think in pictures, and if you say things, they think, oh, my dad, yeah. The anti-aging benefits, because it's proven to work for wrinkles and even cellulite. Prevention, the athletic performance benefit, or the opportunity, because, Joe, this product has over 30 patents on it. There's an opportunity created by it. That wasn't my initial motivation, but I later looked at that. Why are you interested, Joe? That's all you have to get good at asking questions. You don't have to probe and ask, oh, how's this and how's that? If you just get them to watch that video and repeat those 6 things, they're going to tell you if they're interested. And once they say what their hot button is, you know, they have an autistic son, they're in between jobs, they hate their job, they want to keep competing athletically. The reason you got to be a good question asker and listener in general in this business is because you got to find out what their problem is. That's the whole point of asking questions. If you can't find a problem, then they're probably not going to take the time to look at this thing because they don't care. You know, if you have a parent with a child with autism and you start talking about the business, you're barking up the wrong tree. Their problem is they have a real problem in their house with their child. And so the thing to remember is people walk around listening to a radio station in their head all day. They don't even know it's on, but it's on. It's called WIIFM. And it dictates what they do every day. It dictates if they're going to get up when their alarm goes off. It dictates if they're going to stay late at work. It dictates if they're going to go to the grocery store. It dictates if they're going to go to church. It dictates everything. And the radio station they're listening to, WIIFM, is what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Doesn't have to be a greed thing, okay? What's in it for me? Peace of mind. I'm going to church. I'm setting an example for my child. I'm going to church or synagogue. You you know, I don't want to get up at the alarm clock, but what's in it for me is I'm not getting fired. I'm going to make money. It dictates what people do. And for people to take a look at this deeply, if you can find out why they'd be interested, what problem this could solve in their life, they'll take the time to look at it. But that's why you have to be a good question asker and listener instead of a talker. And the 6 Reasons video takes that off of us. It really does. If you watch that video, it is just trying to filter and say, there's not one size fits all. Why would you be interested, right? So I think this has helped this quite a bit. There's a book called Listening for Success that's fantastic. GoPro, this what I just showed, it talks about listening because it's so important. It's really, really important. And you can get them both at the Attitude Pack, in the Attitude Pack at ASEA'Sstore.com. And you can get the GoPro CDs at Amazon.com or NetworkMarketingPro.com too, NetworkMarketingPro.com. So that's skill number 1. Skill number 2 is you got to be a really good promoter. Okay, and when I say promote, you are promoting something that you're trying to leverage. You're promoting an event. You're promoting watching the very initial thing is you just want to get them to watch the 6 Reasons video and take a follow-up call. You are promoting. You're always promoting. You're promoting the convention. You're promoting this to your team. You got to get on this call on Monday nights. It's fantastic. I mean, Debbie Wetzler's on there. She's a double diamond. She was waiting tables. She's just the most caring person you ever met. She was bankrupt. She was losing her house. Now she's a 6-figure earner, and she's the nicest person. You really need to be there. It's not saying, oh, you should be on the Monday night call. You should read this. You should do this. You've got to get good at promoting. And once you're familiar with all the things, the tools, it's much easier to promote it if you're very familiar with it, if that makes sense. But you've got to get good at being a promoter. What do we promote? We promote tools. We promote events. We promote conference calls and webinars. We promote people. Okay, we promote books and CDs. Now understand that the thing about this is these are really all tools. If you want duplication to occur, you have to use tools. You have to use tools and you have to learn how to promote them. This is really, really important. It's not a little thing, because if you are familiar with all the tools in your toolbox, you got the 6 Reasons video, you got the science video, you got the charge up call. If you familiarize yourself with what's in your toolbox, just like a good mason or a carpenter, when you need that tool, number one, you know it exists. You know, if you saw a Phillips head screw and you never even seen one before, and you're like, how do I get that out? Well, then, you know, you pick up a Phillips, if you're aware of a Phillips screwdriver, right? You pick it up and you can do it. But if you're not aware of that it exists, that it's what's in your toolbox, you can't do it. But the beautiful thing about using tools is it's the other key concept is it's duplicatable. If you use tools and you show these people on your team, you use some of the tools with them, and you make sure they understand to fill their toolbox, they can fill the toolbox with the exact same tools that you have. That is duplication, because then they can do it with their people. Anybody can pick up this Phillips head screwdriver and screw a screw in or unscrew it, right? As long as they know how to do it. That's the key, okay? So when we talk about tools, it all ties into duplication, simplicity, and leverage, okay? Okay, being organized. You gotta have a list. If you don't have a list of names to start with, you've got nothing. I mean, people say, I got my 5 friends are gonna do this. And then what happens is they don't even do it properly. They don't use tools. And they quit. The 5 people say no, they quit. Or they get on the product, they don't like the taste, or they don't stay on long enough, or they don't buy enough of it. You know, you have to have a list of names. The best thing to do is to make a 100-name list if possible. But you'll see in Genie's going to start you on 20 names to do a fast forward. 20 names. And the people you're closest with, right? That you'll call, you're the closest with. Some of them are going to listen and some of them are not, right? Okay, I can't come up right now. Tell them I'll talk to them tomorrow. Okay. The list is absolutely critical, and you'll see in Genie it's down to 20, but it's good to have a 100-name list. You want to start with your 20. And what do you do with these people? You're inviting them to learn, to introduce it to them, right? You leverage a tool. What's the tool? The initial tool is the 6 Reasons video. 6 minutes, 6reasons.com, the number 6. Okay, you invite them, you leverage a tool, you set the time for the follow-up, and it's always good to have a third party on there, and to do a three-way phone call. I did my talk at the event in Philadelphia was on doing three-way phone calls. Very, very important to do three-way phone calls, but it's important to do them right. If you don't do three-way phone calls, you'll fail. I will tell you now, if you don't do three-way phone calls with most of the people, if not all the people, you'll fail. But if you don't do them right, you'll fail too. There are ways that people do them wrong, and maybe next week I'll do that PowerPoint on doing three ways, because they're so important. They really, really are. So follow-up is critical. Okay, and when you follow up, they're in, they're out, or they need more information to make a decision, right? But you want to follow up within 24 hours, and you want to set the time for the follow-up. You don't want to say, hey, call me when you watched it. Like, I'm really busy, Joe. I'm following up with everybody after they watch this. Do you want to talk tonight or tomorrow? Here are my windows. Just tell me what works for you. It's an appointment. And if you follow up and they're not ready, they need more information, but they're not out. Okay, what do you need? Well, do you have any data on athletic performance? Because I'm really interested in that. Yep, I'm going to send you a video, and here's some more information on it. And then tomorrow, give me a time, we'll follow up. If you're ready, we'll get you started. If not, you'll let me know, right? This is being professional. I mean, this is not a joke. People want 6-7 figures income. You've got to get good at this. Invite, leverage a tool, follow up. I mean, that sounded lighthearted. That's what this business is. Invite, send a tool, follow up, right? And you know what? You might have to follow up more than once. You might have to follow up more than twice. Until they say they're out, you follow up. And Jeannie's going to make it easy to do that, because it's going to be automatically put in your calendar. You're going to know exactly what to do, okay? Plugging into your team's infrastructure like you are right here, okay? Remember we talked about belief and those 4 things, right? Product, company, network marketing, and yourself. Now you could add team to that. But once someone's has got that belief, it's it. And you know, plugging into your team and what's going on is really important. If you're plugged in, it's kind of like being at a bonfire on the beach. If people have been to that, been to a bonfire. I mean, it's really cool. It's hot. It can be really cold at night, but you're nice and warm, and it is hot. And those gold embers at the bottom, you can see where my cursor is. These gold embers, they're just orange. They're burning, right? But what happens on a beach, a bonfire, if one of those things pops out of the fire? You ever see that? This hot coal comes popping out, right? And they are hot in there. They are glowing hot. But when they pop out, look around the edge here. You see these little, what happens to them? The hot glow starts to fade, right? And then it gets cold, right? This is very much like people in our business. If you tie into these team calls, if you tie into the charge-up call every day, live or recorded, you are in the fire. You're with everybody else. You're with people that are on fire. Some more than others, but you realize this fire is burning with or without you. If you back out and you kind of do it on your own, you don't attend the weekly meeting, and you don't get on the charge-up call live or recorded, then you're like one of these embers sometimes. You're not involved in stuff, and you start to fade out. And it's so sad to see people just kind of fade out and disappear. But what's really cool about these little embers here, what happens if you throw it back in the fire? If you throw that black piece of coal there, ash, back in the fire, what happens? It starts to glow again, right? And it's really important to tie into the infrastructure. Now, most people don't get this. They think, oh, I don't need that. I don't need to do that. The product works. I'm going to make $1 million. This is all critical stuff for a lot of reasons, because if you don't tie into it, number one, you're going to fade away. Number two, if you're not leading it as an example and tying in, then your people are going to pop out. They're going to duplicate what you do, unless they look at you and say, God, you know, Joe doesn't know what he's doing. Now I'm listening to Bob, I'm listening to David and Debbie and Paul and Trish. I'm doing what these people say. There are people that will do that, but a lot of people will duplicate what you do. And if your why is strong enough, you want to be like this glowing ember up here. Now, whether you are having a lot of success yet or not, I'm telling you, it's 3 to 5 years. If you're not talking to people and following up, then you're just hanging out. You're feeling good in the fire. You're not really accomplishing anything. And that's okay. You may stick around until all of a sudden the light bulb goes on and you're like, oh, man, what am I doing? I got to start calling people. I'm watching these people go to bronze and silver and gold and platinum and diamond. What am I doing? But if you're out of the fire, you don't even know the game's going on, honestly. And so it's really important to tie in. The last one, if you remember, was being consistent. Remember the deck of cards? You know, how many aces are in the deck, right? How many kings? There's 4. How many queens? 4. How many jacks? 4. So these are all good people to have in your business. The analogy is an ace is, hey, that's a triple diamond, baby. That's a leader from the get-go, coachable, motivated, let's rock. Kings are really good too, and queens are too, and jacks. But you know what? There's a lot of other cards in the deck. And these guys, some of them are going to be real naysayers and nasty. Some of them are just going to be like just kind of customers, and that's fine because we need customers. That's fine. But if you don't turn over enough cards, you never get to the good ones. And sometimes you turn it over, you get great one right from the beginning, but usually not. When you realize, I always say this, realize everybody you know is going to know about this. From who do you want them to hear about this? Do you want them to hear about it from you or someone else? And the follow-up is key. If you got somebody that's good, that you feel is number one, somebody you care about. Number two, if it's somebody you think has some go-gettedness in them, I guess it is, or are motivated or leaders or have a big sphere of influence, don't follow up just once until they say no, I don't want to hear about it. If they say no, say, would you like me to send you more information as more studies come out? Because more and more, yeah, keep them on your list. Someone's going to get them. And you're going to go to a meeting and you're going to see them there and they're going to, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, you're doing this business? Yeah, Joe brought it to me, you know, because Joe did it right. Joe followed up. So as Kathy and John Hayes have said, who are on fire now, they said, you know, David, you were always pleasantly persistent. And I called them many times and I didn't give up, but I didn't push it. It was just space the time out, found a reason to touch base, settle information. The timing was right. And they came on board. So, you know, being pleasantly persistent is really, really, really key. Always add names to your list. If you just let your list just sit and you keep calling the same people, it gets really boring and it doesn't go anywhere. And then you think it's not going to work. But if you make it a point to have conversations with people, you know, to expand your list. Sylvie Wilmot did it on LinkedIn. I think Julia Engstrom's on the line. She did it. She's driving like Uber and she's meeting people all Lyft all the time. She's meeting people, you know, so it's killing two birds with one stone. It's making a decision, okay? Making a decision to expand your list if that's what you have to do. And I'm telling you, if you make a decision, nothing will stop you. I don't know if people have read or listened to The Secret. It's all about that. Think and Grow Rich. It is all about that. I didn't believe that stuff till I've seen it happen over and over again with people that were just kind of just cruising along, and all of a sudden it just goes like this because they made a shift. They made a decision. They had a vision and said, I'm getting there no matter what. I'm not playing with this thing. I am taking it damn seriously, and I've got to get better at some skills, and I'm going to do it. So again, I'll read this, the top part of this. The whole thing is amazing. Until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative, there's one elementary truth, that ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The moment one definitely commits oneself, providence moves. I'm going to read the whole thing. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events, issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way, or woman her way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can do. Begin it. Boldness has, I love this, boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. Amazing, amazing quote. So that is the presentation that I did in, God, I guess it was at the convention, actually. And I hope it was helpful. What I want to do is see if anybody has questions that they'd like to ask. Feel free to unmute your line and ask. We'll take just a few minutes on this. I know we're a bit over. Any questions or comments or anything about it? And this is recorded, fact, let me stop the recording here.